As resellers, we do a lot of typing. With customer service issues, sometimes we're answering some of the same questions again and again. And when it comes to listing, we do a lot of typing to create our titles and descriptions. That's why I was so glad when I found a tool to help me do all of that typing much faster. It is called TextBlaze. With TextBlaze, you can create keyboard shortcuts for long pieces of text. So you only have to type in a few characters and TextBlaze will type out a whole answer for a question you get a lot of on your selling platforms, or you can do listing templates for items you list a lot of. Once you have TextBlaze installed and set up, you can use it anywhere you create your listings, like on Poshmark, eBay, Depop, or any cross-listing software you may use. In my case, I use List Perfectly to create my listings, and from there I share it to all of my different selling platforms. So at the end of the video, I am going to give you a quick demo of that. I'll show you how I use List Perfectly listing templates in conjunction with TextBlaze shortcuts to create my listings in as little as 3.5 minutes. For now, let's get into the TextBlaze tutorial. To start using TextBlaze, you can click the link in the description of this video. That's going to take you to an invite page that looks like this. From this page, you're just going to click on Add TextBlaze to Chrome. That's going to take you over to Google's Chrome extension store. An extension from Chrome is basically going to work just like an app would on your phone, but extensions are for computers. That is the only bad thing I have found so far about TextBlaze, that they don't have this service available for your phone on an app yet. So if you're going to use this, it's only going to be on your computer. Usually you will see a button right here that says install to Chrome or something like that. Mine says remove from Chrome because I already have it installed. But once you click this button, it's going to tell you how to install it. It's going to go through a few steps. They're pretty simple to follow. With that invite link, you are going to get this pro version of TextBlaze free for 1 month. After the 1 month, it is only $2.99 a month if you pay yearly, but you can always get started with the free version of TextBlaze, and this should be more than enough for most beginners. Once you do have TextBlaze installed and set up in your computer, you're going to be able to find it by clicking on this little puzzle icon towards the top right hand side. You'll see TextBlaze right here. It's highlighted blue because I pinned this extension. That way I'm able to easily access it here on the side. Once you click on it, a small window is going to pop up, and from here you can manage your TextBlaze account. You can search for any snippets using the search bar. Snippets is the word they use for shortcuts. So basically any shortcuts you create on TextBlaze are called snippets. You can add a new snippet right here, and you can go to the different snippet folders you create, and if you click on this star button here, you'll be able to see the snippets you use the most often. If you want to see all of this information in a full view format, you can always click right here on Go to Dashboard, and that's going to open TextBlaze in a new tab for you. First, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of this TextBlaze dashboard setup, and then we'll get into these folders here so you can see how I use TextBlaze in my reselling business. To create a snippet, you can just click this blue plus sign here up at the top. It's going to ask you what folder you want this snippet to go into. So you can choose any, or you can create a new folder right from here. I'll create a new one for now and call it example. Click on create snippet, and then you'll finish creating it here off to the side. The first thing you have to do is give your snippet a label. This is basically the title, the description that's going to tell you what the snippet is for. This is something only you will see on the back end of your dashboard. The next thing you'll have to do is create the shortcut you want to use. TextBlaze will automatically put something here that you haven't used before. That way you're not creating duplicate shortcuts, but you can delete this if you want to and put your own. Just make sure whatever shortcut character you decide to use is something that's short, that's simple, and very easy to remember. And down here in this big blank space is where you're going to put the long or short text you want to be displayed every time you type this shortcut. Another very important thing I should mention before we move on is that you want this combination of characters up here to be something you rarely use when you're typing on your computer, because this shortcut is going to trigger this text no matter where you are, whether it's your email, Google Docs, or any other website. As long as you're on your computer, every time you type this, you'll get this long text. So make sure it is something you hardly ever use. And if you ever want to test out your snippet, you can click this try it out button right here. I'm going to type in my /2EX, and there you can see my text that I assigned to it. But I guess this testing feature would be more important if you're using all of this extra fancy stuff off to the side right here. These things are used to create what they call dynamic snippets. You can add drop-down menus, date, time. You can have it do automatic clicks of your mouse as well, and a lot of other commands. But I think these dynamic snippets is probably going to be overkill if you're barely starting with TextBlaze. I myself still haven't even explored the side of TextBlaze completely. I have used it somewhat, and later on I will show you an example of that. Moving back over here to the left hand side, once you do have a bunch of snippets, it's probably best for you to start organizing them and categorize them by similar topics, and that's when this folder icon will become useful. You can click here to create your folders. Right here is where you will name it. Usually I just give it a name, but you can also add a description down here if you want. When you right click on one of these folders, you will get several different options. You can add a new snippet right into this folder, so you don't always have to use this big round plus sign up here. You can share this folder if you'd like. You can disable this folder. This will kind of archive it so you don't have to delete it altogether, and you can save it for later. You can rename your folder here, and you can sort all of the snippets within a folder in alphabetical order by the name you gave it, the label, or by the shortcut combination you created for that snippet. And if you want to delete a folder altogether, you can do that right here. To open up a folder and see what's inside, you can click this little arrow off to the side, and you can also see a menu for each snippet by right clicking again, and from here you can copy a snippet, you can move it to a different folder, you can rename it, or you can delete it. And all of these actions from this menu are also available right here under this edit. You can share, add comments, and delete this snippet altogether from here. So that's pretty much the basics of TextBlaze. Now I'm just going to go over a few of these folders and share a few more tips along the way, starting up at the top right here with size charts. This orange exclamation alert button happens when you have duplicated shortcuts. That is something you want to avoid, because then TextBlaze will get confused and it's not going to know which snippet to type out for you if you have multiple of the same. But in this case, for this size chart folder, I do have the same shortcut for pretty much all of them, because this size chart folder on TextBlaze is more of a reference for me. I use it to look up size conversions when I'm listing. Sometimes some brands will only put the EU size on their tags on the shoes. So instead of searching for the shoe size chart every time I'm listing something by one of these brands, I take a screenshot and I paste it here into TextBlaze. That way I can find it quickly when I'm listing. So that's something you could use TextBlaze for, to keep references you use very often that help you create your listings. Let's move on to this other folder right here called brand names. This is one that I do use very often when I'm creating my listings, because these are the brands that I list a lot of. So instead of typing out all of these brand names again and again, I created these shortcuts to make it a lot faster. For all of my shortcuts, I like to start off with a special character followed by 2 to 3 letters after that, although sometimes I do have to use more letters than that just to avoid duplicating shortcuts. For brand names, I use this dash character. For something like colors and prints, I like to use this star character in the beginning. And for pretty much everything else, I just use this sideways slant right here. Using different characters like this for different kinds of snippets helps me avoid repeating the same shortcuts, and it helps me keep my shortcut triggers short so I can remember them easily. Most of the items that I pick up to resell are gently used, in good condition, and no flaws, so my listing templates that I use have that condition description in them. But sometimes I do deviate from that condition for one reason or another. Maybe I picked up an item by mistake and didn't know it had a flaw, and that's when these condition snippet folders comes in handy. That way I'm able to change my listing template very quickly by just typing in a few characters. And later on in the video, when I get to the examples where I show you how I use those list perfectly listing templates, you'll see more of how that works. This next folder here, I use it for some disclaimers that I have to use sometimes when I'm creating my listings. This model pics disclaimer is for when I'm using stock photos and the item in the stock photo is a different color than the one I'm listing. I want to make sure I put this disclaimer in my listing so that the buyer does not expect something and then they end up getting something else in a completely different color. I put this towards the top of my description so they are more likely to see it. Sometimes shoes or even clothing is missing the size tag, so this is a disclaimer I use as well. I let them know there's no tag, so make sure they go look at the pictures so that they can see the measurements and they can ensure that it is going to fit them. And then these next few folders are features and accents, heels, materials, toe shapes, sizing and fit, and all of those are some that I use the most often when I'm filling out my listing templates on List Perfectly. And the last folder here on TextBlaze that I use particularly for listing is this style tags folder. These are the keywords that I put at the bottom of all my descriptions. And just like condition, my List Perfectly listing templates already have these style tags at the bottom typed out already, but there are times that I have to edit those style tags so that they make more sense, and that's when I rely on these snippets. And as for this next one right here, it is called reselling messages, and these are the messages I have to type out on reselling platforms. It takes care of customer service or some marketing stuff. I'll go over a few of these with you just so that you can see what else you could do with TextBlaze. The first one here is for closet clear out, and as you can see by the boxes that are off here to the right hand side, this snippet is more dynamic than the other ones. I'm going to open up a Poshmark window to the side to show you how it works. As you may know, on most Fridays and Sundays, Poshmark runs a sale called Closet Clear Out. On that day, if you drop the price of your items, they will pay for part of the buyer's shipping on your behalf. In short, that's what that is. If you want more details about it though, I will leave a video linked right here that you can go watch next. There I explain all the rules, regulations, and some more tips you can use to make full use of that sale. Here I'm going to show you how I used TextBlaze to take advantage of that sale. First thing you have to do is click this notifications icon right here. Then we will go to likes, and then we'll select one of these likers. Let's go with this one right here. I'm going to copy her name, Renee, and then we're going to go to her bundle, which you get to by clicking this bundle bag right here. And that's going to take us to the back end of her bundles. However, this right here is on buyer mode, so it is showing me bundles based on my likes from her closet. We want to switch it to sell mode by clicking this arrow right here and clicking on switch to sell view. Now it's going to show me what activity she has going on in my closet for my items. So I can see she liked these shoes probably a long time ago. I can delete those and I can go ahead and add these that she liked that are still available for sale. The next thing I would do once I add a liked item to someone's bundle on closet clear out day is I would add a comment, and this is where the snippet comes into play. The snippet shortcut I have for closet clear out is /TCC. That's the one I would use, so I'll go ahead and type that here. Since this is a dynamic snippet, a new window will pop up from TextBlaze, and here is where I will fill out the rest of the information. So up here, it automatically put her name because I copied it before, and I told TextBlaze that anytime I copy something, I want them to paste it right here when I use this shortcut. I told you, dynamic snippets are a little bit more complex than the simple ones, but they are useful once you get the hang of it. The next thing I have here is a drop-down menu. So this box right here is what you see right here. If I click this arrow, it will show me all the types of items I would sell. So these are sandals, so that's the item I would select. And then here I would put in what price I'm willing to drop these sandals to in order for her to get that shipping discount from Poshmark. They're at $32. I'd probably say something like $25. When you're done filling out these things, just click insert, and that will put that message here on Poshmark for me. So all I had to do was put this shortcut, tell TextBlaze what kind of item this is, tell TextBlaze what price I want to get for these sandals, and that's it. This whole message is typed out for me. I'll read off a quick summary. It says, "Hey Renee, I feel like using their name and it being more personalized makes it more likely that they will read the whole message and that they will accept your offer. Poshmark's offering $4.99 shipping. If I drop the price of this item, they will give you that discount. I can drop it to $25. Let me know if this will work for you." And then I would click send. I don't participate in Closet Clear Out as much anymore, but when I did, this is how I would do it because it is a faster way to do it. And because I didn't have to go to my closet and drop all these prices, and then if no one bought, I'd have to go back on there and put them up again. This way, I only drop prices if the liker agrees beforehand. If the liker responded saying they weren't interested, then I would use this shortcut right here to send them this message, basically telling them, no problem, it's okay you didn't accept. If you ever like something, just let me know and I'll give you a good price. If on the other hand they said, yes, I want you to drop the price for me, I would send them this message right here. I'll drop it right now. Make sure you look out for the notification because it will go out to all likers. And then once they went through with the purchase, I sent this message right here. Thank you for your purchase. I'll have it shipped as soon as possible. However, if they said yes, and then I dropped the price, and then a couple hours passed by and they never went through with the purchase, I sent them a reminder right here, and I used this shortcut to tell them they should have received the notification. If they don't see it or if they have any questions, just let me know. And oftentimes this would work to close the sale, because sometimes people just forget to check back, or maybe they do have questions, maybe they don't see it, and I help them find it so we can get the sale done. And as far as the rest of these reselling messages, it's just for other sales that I run from time to time. This miscellaneous folder right here are some shortcuts that I use but very rarely. And then I have this STMB folder right here. That's for my Sandra the Mom Boss side of my business. This example folder is the one I created earlier, and I guess we can go ahead and delete that. I created this as well earlier. I'll delete this one. And now let's go see what TextBlaze looks like when I'm creating my listings on List Perfectly. This is pretty much how my listing setup looks like when I'm creating my listings. Off to the left hand side, I will have List Perfectly open on a new page ready for a new listing. And off to the right hand side, I have my pictures ready to go. And then I have a tab open up right here in case I need to do some research on eBay or Poshmark. And very soon I am going to create a tutorial on List Perfectly. For now, I just want to show you some quick listing examples so you can see how TextBlaze works into all of this. I'm going to start off by listing this first pair of shoes by selecting my pictures right here. And then I just drag and drop right here onto List Perfectly. The first thing I do is select my template up here. These are flat loafers more than anything, so that's the template I will be selecting. I'm going to go ahead and rearrange these photos so they make sense. Since I selected this template, List Perfectly already went ahead and put some of my listing title here and most of my description right here. All I have to do from here is use TextBlaze to fill in the missing pieces. The first thing is right here in the front, I have to add my brand name. These are Born of Concept shoes. The shortcut for that is a dash and BOC. The next piece of information that's missing in this title is the size and then the color, which I have a snippet for. It is a star and a 6. And these are suede, I believe. I can check my pictures right here. They are in fact suede, so I'll go ahead and click -SU for suede. And I do try to use my maximum amount of characters, which for most platforms it is 80. So I'm just going to go in here and add as many keywords as I can think of to reach the 80 characters. Once I'm done filling in my title, I will just copy it and paste it down here in my description. I've just always heard that is the best practice, to have your title repeated in your description. As I mentioned earlier, my templates say gently used, good condition, no flaws. However, these pair of shoes do have some sort of scuff going on right here, which I have pointed to with this arrow, so it is very hard to miss for the buyer. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this right here and use a snippet. It is /scuff, and then I will edit the snippet if necessary. Then we have to enter our size right here under women's. So I'll put in 8. Medium width snippet is /MW. And pretty much from here, I'm just going to go through the rest of this template and make sure that everything makes sense and fill in the rest of the missing pieces. And that is pretty much it for my listing. The next part would be pricing and adding shipping weight and all of that, but I'll leave that for the List Perfectly tutorial. This part is what I use the TextBlaze snippets for. I'm going to click on Save and New right here and show you one more example. We're going to go with these platform loafers by Naturalizer. Up here, I'll just put in platform. And right here is my template I created for those. In this case, my pictures look good. So then I'll just start filling in the brand name and all the keywords in my title. Copy and paste my title in my description. In this instance, this condition description I have set in my template is good enough. I'll fill in my size and all of my features and accents. And this one was even faster because I did not have to edit my pictures much and the condition made sense. So for listings like this, for brands and styles that I list a whole lot, I take maybe 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes at most to create my listings. For items where I do have to do pricing research because I don't know what to price it at, it will maybe take more like 4.5 minutes. But for the most part, because of TextBlaze, I am able to create keyword-rich titles and descriptions for all of my listings very quickly. In this video, I showed you how I use TextBlaze in my reselling business, but I'm sure you're going to find your own way of using it because there are endless ways to use shortcuts. It just depends on what you list and where you do your listing. The only recommendation I do have for you is to keep your snippet list very simple and short in the beginning. As you saw, I have a very long list of shortcuts, but I did not start off that way. It grew like that over time. Anytime I noticed myself typing the same thing more than in a few times, I would copy and paste that text into a new snippet. And because I keep my shortcuts very simple, short, and obvious, it's very easy for me to remember them when I need them. And when I don't remember, I can just use the search bar real quick to find it. If you want to know more about keywords, where to find them, and how to use them in your listings, you can watch this video right here. YouTube thinks you'll like this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.